Okay, welcome. Today we are going to go over Centricity Analytics for our second MidPlaines CHUG Practice Management Only meeting. And we will cover the basics so that those who have or are interested in analytics will be able to get a clearer picture of what it can do for you and how easy it is to build reports. Centricity Analytics is an add-on product for those with Centricity Practice Management. You can have CPS or Centricity Practice Management. Analytics is only analyzing the financials for your Centricity database. Who should get analytics? Well, specialists for one, because of the amount of revenue that is generated in multiple places. For example, a cardiologist or an orthopedic surgeon is often going to do procedures at many different locations and hospitals, and you want to do some number crunching with that. There are doctors out there who are number hungry and want to know as much as possible, slice and dice as much as they can. Practices in very competitive metro areas will benefit from analytics, and anyone who sees data as a powerful tool. And if you are very organized, have a lot of things already buttoned up in terms of reports and how you run your AR, analytics can be that next tool that will give you an edge. Who is not a candidate? Well, to simply put, someone who isn't as organized as the next office. Working on step one to organize the basics is probably better than getting analytics and throwing that on top of everything else that you have to do during the day. So let's start with step one, the standard centricity reports. What do they do? Everyone has their favorites, I know. They are fixed crystal reports that go into a fixed page as an output. They're always black and white. You do not have the ability to make bold or highlight or color certain areas that you want to. You can ask for custom crystal reports, such as this practice performance example, to improve upon what you're already using, but again, you are not able to graph these or color them. What analytics will be able to do is transform your transactional data into meaningful business info, slicing and dicing, drilling down the capabilities to view quantitative numbers into any combination. One of the great benefits is it will automatically load your financial data at night so that you can work on it during business hours without slowing down the performance of your database. You're able to use a familiar piece of software, Microsoft Excel, to slice and dice the data and use the pivot charts for the graphical part. So if your physician would rather look at this instead of the black and white crystal report, you might be a good candidate for analytics. So how does this work? Well, the analytics server is going to pull your database, extracting it and loading it overnight, putting it into a warehouse into OLAP cubes so that your workstation from Microsoft Excel can connect to it and interface with a Microsoft Excel pivot table to do your work. To simplify this, with analytics you can use Excel to visually see the data that you want. Your reports are flexible and not fixed, and you can put dashboards in Microsoft Excel on your doctor's desktop for him to see, and that data will refresh every night for them to see the latest and greatest data. One benefit we have gotten feedback from customers using analytics is that you can actually find lost revenue out there to capture and contact insurance companies to increase payment as should have been with negotiated fees. And lastly, you can impress your physicians at your quarterly or monthly staff meetings with these reports. A quote from Rosemary Armstrong at Barrow Urological Associates simply says that she was very excited that she ran one of those reports that she always runs, but this time she ran it with analytics, and she found money that an insurance company owed them because they were underpaid. She was very happy and thanked us for showing us how to use it. Okay, so the nuts and bolts of analytics comes down to two items, dimensions and measures. Dimensions in Centricity Analytics are fields that you normally report in reports as a method of buy. So for example, interpreted that the doctor wants payments by doctor, by month, by year, by who paid, etc., etc. You will notice that dimensions are highlighted in Excel as a small box with a horizontal blue line on it, and you'll see that in the field table on the demonstration. A measure is a quantitative or specific calculation or number that you will see on the chart or the spreadsheet. So while a dimension may be a Dr. Harry Winston or all doctors, the measure may be a charge of $10,000 or $100,000. So we're going to quickly go through in PowerPoint how you connect to the database and start doing your work, and then I'm going to do a demonstration. You can have 2003 version Excel, 2007, 2010. It will all work rather the same. So from a new worksheet, you are going to import external data and connect to a database query. You will choose your analytics. You will choose the existing worksheet to insert a pivot table and chart. Once you do that, you will have your field table on your right and your drop data items on the left. Where do you drop these fields? The dimensions and measures. As you can see, the dimensions are up on the top and measures are on the bottom of the field list. You simply select them and drag and drop them into the appropriate area, as highlighted here on the PowerPoint. You will have certain ones. The purple or the blue boxes are where you put dimensions, and the measures are where you put go in the yellow section. Okay, so let's take a look at how that is in real time. Just as a point of reference, here's an example. Here's an example of what some dashboards may look like, and these again will update for the latest and greatest data for the physician. Here's a pre-made sheet for visits, charge payment, referrals, revenue year to date, E&M codes, and again, you're able to adjust these by doctor. So that's just the view for Dr. Winston. Here I can update this to all physicians, and you can see it now has updated the values in both the spreadsheet and the chart according to what I selected on the funnel. So how do I do this, Mike? This seems nice, but if it takes me hours, I don't want it. Well, this is how easy it is. I'm in a new spreadsheet, and I'm going to connect to some existing data, which is my analytics. I'm going to choose a pivot, chart, and table. This opens up for me to start choosing fields that I want to build, and I'm going to build a spreadsheet report for visits so that a facility, say an orthopedic facility, can see how busy they are at all 3 facilities and ASCs, etc. So from here, I'm going to choose and select what I want to filter by. I want to filter by appointment types, referring doctors, facilities, financial classes, and doctors. So you see that as I dragged these into the report filter section, it added these to the spreadsheet in the order that I did so. You can move it, so if I want doctors to be 3rd instead of 5th, you can move it. It's no problem at all. That's a feature here of the version of Excel that I'm using. So then I want to build a row of the date. and then I need a value, right? I have no numbers in here yet, so I want to add the value of number of patient visits. And now I have a chart of which I can edit of the chart type, the size, etc., any way that I want, and save this, and this will be now a permanent spreadsheet that will update to the new data that comes in every day. Alright, so let me do a second example, and that took about less than a minute to build, so you can see how it can work rather quickly once you get going. Again, I'm going to connect to my analytics data source, and I'm going to have a chart and table, and I'm going to build a revenue year-to-date sheet. I'm going to put, I want to find some values including insurance payment, total payment, and I do want total payment first, so I'm going to move that, and then patient payment, and then entry dates. Okay, so there it is, a revenue year-to-date sheet built to my liking. I have the infrastructure there, so I can make adjustments as to what type of chart I want after the fact. If I want to get fancy, I can do so. And then I can adjust. Maybe I want to look at just 1 year, maybe just 2009. And I can do that breaking down the month as so. So then you get a clearer picture of 1 year versus at month to month versus year on year. So let's go back and review. Do you have any questions on this? You can contact us at these numbers and email address, or our main email address at midplainschug.com, midplainschug@healthcois.com. I did get a question during the original meeting of, do the dashboards update for the physician once you have them done? And the answer is yes. So if you have a dashboard made as this, or a spreadsheet of year-to-date sitting on the physician's desktop, they will update. And if you do need to refresh at any time, you would simply go to your data source and refresh that. So there you have it. That is Centricity Analytics. Thanks for attending, and we hope to see you at the next meeting.